Hi. Hi, Tiffany. Hi.
Hello. Hello,
I want
hello.
I want to be like a
Exactly.
virtual hug, my friend. And hi, everybody. I don't know if you can see our Facebook because I cannot see from where I am, but I think we are live. We are live on Facebook. And for everybody that is joining us, okay, yes, we are. Uh, Today is a fantastic day for us. Super happy, super excited to, yes, we're live confirmed. Super excited to have you. Super excited to have this conversation. I think it's very timely for us to have it. And today we're going to talk about investing with integrity and what does that mean for co-living. So to begin with, how about we talk about ourselves or introduce yourself to the audience, and especially because when you work in real estate and there is so many opportunities to do the wrong thing that you really need to know who are you working with, that all the ways that your values are aligned with what you want to do, perfect. So how about you start introducing yourself?
Well, hello. Thanks for everyone for coming into the room. And Clara and I were just talking about how exciting it is for us to be doing this together and how we wish it was in the flesh. I'll start by saying, Clara, you were one of the first people ever that I reached out to. I think I stalked you on LinkedIn
Yes.
because all I was looking for were experts in co-living. I just wanted to know who was doing it well, who was rocking it. And your name came up and I went to LinkedIn and I just started stalking you. And then I literally like found my way to your website and booked a free appointment with you. I'm like, I need
I
to talk to this woman.
Oh my
I need
god.
to talk to her.
And I'm so sorry because that day I was so distracted with other things, and I could feel like you were disappointed that I forgot who you was. Like, oh my god, like I'm so sorry. I don't remember what was
I
going
don't
on,
expect you to know like little
but I
me
don't
who knew nothing about co-living. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna book appointment with one of the experts of
I
co-living and
know.
just see what information she has. Which was amazing, right? You gave me your time and you're so kind and you're like, I don't know who this woman is, but I'm gonna give point her to some references, which really helped me get on my path. But hello, my name is Tiffany Grimm Fulton. I am hailing from snowy, beautiful, sunny Colorado in Denver. And oh my gosh, it's awesome to be having this conversation in particular because I think all of our conversations, Clara, have revolved around how do we do this with integrity. And I know
Yeah.
you are someone who's in integrity, and I specifically seek out mentors and people in the space who are in integrity. And so just to even have this conversation is amazing. By trade, I'm a leadership and performance coach for executives and investors and visionary entrepreneurs, and I essentially help people bridge their potential with their impact. So, what's happening inside of them with how they're showing up in the world. And it's my passion to really help bring all of these things together and help someone act out of integrity, right? And leave a legacy of integrity. And so, I also lead adventure quests all over the world. I put people in really uncomfortable situations and have them look at themselves and become better people. And I'm a public speaker, and I think this conversation is so important because I feel like investing and I'm early in my investing career, but I feel like it can be a catalyst for true alignment, right? With a long-term legacy that is rooted in integrity. So I'm super excited to have this conversation with you.
Before we start talking about real estate, I love the word quest, and when
Yeah.
you talk about you lead the people to quest, can you elaborate a little bit more? Because I'm going to be your client at some point, like super soon.
Yes, absolutely. No, I love the term quest too. I lead retreats, right, where we kind of turn in and we retreat in and we just kind of have a really, really enclosed container. But I think the quest is certainly I enjoy putting people in uncomfortable physical situations where you have to navigate. The last one I led was in the Swiss Alps, and we went from the Mont Blanc to the Matterhorn. It was 95 miles over 10 days. And there were, storms. There
Oh,
was a day where we had four seasons. There was we were up 4,900 feet and down 4,500 feet. And it's just like constant putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation where you have to see more of yourself and you have to dig underneath the surface. So I always say it's like a way to kind of pull all these pieces together, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional. And while you're having this outer quest, right? Of getting to a destination, but really we know it's not about the destination. You're having this full inner quest of transformation of who you're made of on the inside. And the inner quest is the powerful piece, right? And I feel like anything, investing, real estate, whatever your job is, whatever your relationships are, can lead you deeper into that inner quest, which essentially leads to transformation, which is what I love.
But I'm going to add something there, and we both completely agree with that. That if someone really wants to start doing, moving forward in the life, moving forward in the real
Yeah,
estate careers, you gotta be uncomfortable doing things that you have not before.
that's right.
And the first part of in the Women Coliving conference, I run an exercise about making people uncomfortable and getting out of the comfort zone, and I got like
Right.
really good feedback about that. And thank you for the feedback on that. And with
Yeah.
all my coaching students as well, we always talk about being uncomfortable and what makes you uncomfortable, and what only by being uncomfortable they're gonna create their co-living portfolios. Uh,
That's right.
yeah, right. Because it's not like buying a short-term rental or buying a house and flipping it. It's
Right.
completely different and new. And
Yeah.
going to that, and it's also because co-living specifically is a mix between service, hospitality, and serving population that cannot afford regular market rent. So you really need to
Right.
know what you're doing and how you're doing it to make it work
Yeah.
really well. And that's where the consciousness, I think, it appears, and necessarily being out of the
Yeah.
comfort zone um, to be able to achieve
Absolutely.
both growth. So tell me a little bit more in how you started your real estate career and what led you to real estate.
So there was a moment when I was looking at my son, and he was 6 years old at the time, and I was like, I want to make sure that you are set up for the rest of your life. And not to say that my parents haven't done a great job at doing that and supporting, kind of the lineage or generations forward. However, I was just like, I want to really be sure that I set you up and that I leave a legacy that you can carry forward. And so real estate had always been kind of like popping in and out of, conversations and fields. And I was like, no, 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 I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about just like stocks. I don't know anything about it. I don't prefer to and know anything about it. It just seems like a completely foreign language, which was very uncomfortable for me, right?
Yeah.
And finally, I was like, why am I refusing this so hard? And I grew up in a mindset where it was too risky, right? It wasn't something that we did. My parents worked really hard for what we had, and they worked really hard to protect it. And they were more kind of in the stocks, investing. And so they didn't know much about real estate, but I was really interested in it. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to unhook myself from this mindset and put myself in the uncomfortable position and learn all that I can at 46 years old, I was at the time. And I said, you know what? It's not too late to learn. I can do this. I know I can. I have the ambition. I have the fortitude. I have the discipline. I have, the compassion for myself because I know it's going to be hard. And so I just dove in. I started going to whatever it was, networking stuff, cash flow club things, whatever I could find in Denver, and just started having conversations. I said, I have no idea where I want to play in this space, but I just want to learn where. And so I ended up starting with one kind of avenue that essentially led me to very quickly to conversations about affordable housing. And for me, when I got into the space finally in real estate, it was like, oh, I actually need to be aligned with my values because I can't play over here and I can't do this and like cold calling doesn't feel right for me and like this space, this space didn't feel good. And so I said, I need to find something in here that aligns with who I am as a person, what I stand for, right? Like my values and my morals, and how am I going to make an impact that aligns with who I am? And then affordable housing, co-living, it all came flooding in. And I was like, this is it. This is where I want to play. And so, yeah, there was a lot kind of leading up to that. I have, my own business. I worked in corporate for 10 years and now it's just, okay, how do I make a larger impact, leave my son, a legacy, and, really learn all I can and continue to be a student. That's kind of always been my motto is like, even though I'm a coach, always be a student, always look for coaches and mentors, because someone always knows something more than I do.
That is completely true and completely right. And you say something that resonate with me and resonate with a lot of also my students and people that come to my classes is, am I too old to learn? You know, why am I doing this? What is my why? Like, why am I doing this? Am I too old to learn? Can I pull myself
Right.
to the next thing? And you wouldn't believe that, and you're very connected with the reasons everybody does it. Hey, you know, sustainable income for the future, build my own
Right.
retirement. And I can do
Right.
it if I push myself a little bit about my comfort zone. And they all do it because this is what feels right for them. They don't want to do, and sometimes they come to me, oh, should I do fix and flip? Should I do blah, blah, blah? No, like, even if you don't have a lot of money, you can do arbitrage, but just focus in the real estate niche that aligns with your values, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
in one moment in particular was the moment that you felt that co-living aligned with your values, and how does integrity, you know, have a play on this?
Yeah, well, integrity is one of my values, essentially. I mean, right?
Fair
Because we
enough.
all have different values, and clearly, it's we want them to be benevolent when we're talking about integrity. But that's it. Like I operate out of integrity everywhere I am. I operate out of a discipline. Lineage is important to me. Sovereignty, right? Like maintaining my own, autonomy throughout whatever business that I create. And so integrity is just always woven itself through everything that I do. And, everyone knows in the real estate space that there's going to be aspects of it and people and things that are out of integrity. And you can tell when
Yeah,
that happens, right? And it doesn't feel good in your body. And then it makes you second guess. And then it creates delays. And then it creates chaos, and like it just makes everything chaotic, right? And it doesn't flow well. And so when you find people, and I had talked to a lot of people, I just like kept reaching out, like, what? And I think I came to you with it. I said, what if we built like this whole community of investors with purpose? And you're like, well, what does that look like? And you started asking me a ton of questions. I'm like, I'm not sure, but it's an idea. I'm such a visionary. But it was like, yeah, how do we bring these people together and like create big change together and make it profitable, big change? I talked to someone who said like purpose-driven profit, right? Like
mm-hmm.
how do we get both, but also put the purpose and the integrity is at the forefront.
Correct. To me, and I'm going to share how integrity plays a role for me and how I've done it over the years is
Yeah.
very similar to you. When things don't feel right, they just don't flow. You know what I mean? And I have a lot
That's
of
right.
investors that come to me, hey, Clara, I want to make a lot of money in co-living, you know, and they think of residents as just, you know, cash making machines, and to me that's like 100% no. And I
Yeah.
have turned down investors that don't speak highly of the residents, or don't speak of the residents with the respect that everybody deserves, no matter how much they may make.
Right.
Since my first co-living arbitrage company placed me was placed in the city of Boston. Remember that Boston has what one of the most diverse populations in the United States, and a lot of international students. So in my company, I have like 700 residents over the years for pretty much like 78 countries. I think that's about
Wow.
the data that I have. And to me, all of them were equally treated the same, with the same standards, with the same respect. And I was
Mm.
lucky, very lucky to have my director of operations came from Disney, educated in Disney. So the welcome standard, the how you doing standards, like every communication interaction with them was how to make them feel appreciated and valuable.
Yeah. Ultra hospitality. Yeah.
And I have some other members of my operations team, like, oh, but if they come from this country, the kitchen is going to smell. If they come to this country,
Mm.
they're going to request A, Y, and C, and they're very picky. Like, hey, hold on a minute. uh, and I am also very bound by the Fair Housing Act and Everybody Deserves a Place to Live Act. So to me, all plays together, treating not only the investors that believe in us with respect, but the people that makes the business running with a lot of respect. And if I don't feel that you
Right.
are and like someone say, hey, we have a support ticket, and this person, because this person is from this color of the skin or this country, we should not respond that quickly. Like, what? No, like, to me, equanimity, integrity from day one. And I have a lot of, I created pretty much, I remember I was very upset with my business partner one day that someone, locked one of the apartments and, lost the key or whatever. Like, and he was like, oh no, but this person only pays as much. We shouldn't go until someone has free time. It's like, or we shouldn't go, like, this is not an emergency. And I'm like, why? Because how much they pay is not an emergency. Uh, and to me, that's like just not okay. Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody needs to be received with respect. So
Yeah. Was
let's
there
talk.
ever a time where you felt like you had to compromise your integrity?
Mm, no, I did the opposite. The opposite.
Yeah.
I created the company culture values based on integrity. How,
That's
hey,
nice.
if you are working in my company, these are our values, and you need to abide by those values. And if you don't want to abide by those values, then you need to, push. There is one moment when you start growing, right? When you have more than one or two people in the team, that you start like what does the onboarding working with us look like? And
Right.
based on that integrity, that I really wanted not to have any friction regarding, any age of nationality or not, how much income they make or whatever length of stay, whatever it was. I wanted, treat everybody with respect, and also from the same owners, from the same team, from everybody. So I make it a
Right.
culture. I make it a company culture.
That's
Uh,
it. That's what it's based
compromise
on. Yeah.
integrity. Let me think. Probably not. I was pushed to it many times. I didn't know
Hmm.
any better, but I was very stubborn. So right now, I don't recall a moment when that happened. How about you?
Yeah. No, I think you like catch yourself in it, right? I think for me as an early investor, where integrity showed up really quickly was wanting to go too fast, right? And
Yeah,
wanting to build or do the next one before I had the systems and everything, all the foundation laid and my, everything tight on the first one. And I'm kind of in that space right now. Is like there's the impetus to go out and get another, and then I
yeah,
have to pull myself back and say no, like I still have to hone in on this and this, because then it's going to be a repeatable process, right? Then it can be a cookie cutter. But if the cookie cutter is broken, then everything's going to go all over the place. And so that's even just within myself, is compromising my own integrity of not being like so hungry for the next thing, or walking into a grocery store when I'm hungry and buying everything that I want, without having the infrastructure in place to be able to fully, like you said, navigate the financial components, but also the customer service components or the hospitality components of making these places, livable, and not just livable, right, but thriving places. Because for me, in my coaching, right, when I'm coaching other people, environment is powerful. Environment helps you change who you are, right? And so if I'm able to provide an environment that's stable, that has structure, that has
yeah,
systems, and I can learn from the best, which I am right now, of how to implement those systems, then I can do it again. So I I find myself like, oh, no, don't compromise it, because I can feel it in my body, right?
yeah,
And it doesn't feel good. It feels like I'm stretching too much. It feels like I'm not sleeping, right? So I think that's just like kind of an internal one that I noticed. And then of course, I think we notice what's happening just as
yeah,
far as co-living,
yeah.
in general,
I just came
which
with
I'll
the,
let you speak
the example when you were speaking. I just came with the example when I needed. There was a moment that I had the chance or the opportunity to for my integrity to be compromised. You want to hear it?
Yes.
When COVID came, and everybody started leaving, because it was arbitrage, breaking their contracts and just returning to their countries.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, uh, we start having 40% vacancy. By April 2020 we have 60% vacancy. So need to start really consolidating the portfolio. What do we do? And I think maybe 1 month later we found a buyer, and the buyer was another arbitrage company doing the same, but like in a different manner to guys. And they just wanted everything handled for them, like all the properties without any debt and no liabilities, and all the everything handled to them, all the furniture, 100% of everything, and in exchange for nothing. This was COVID, right? We have very very little negotiating power at the time. Yeah. And on top of that, they wanted me to sign a non-compete for like 2 years. So they wanted me to give you everything I had, absolutely everything. The keys of what I built for 3 years of all the time that I built my company. But on top of that, they said, you cannot compete with us. What would you do?
Right.
What
would I do?
Yeah.
I'm finished.
I said, you know what? My business partner said, yeah, I'll sign. I don't care. And I said, you know what? I'm not gonna sign the non-compete. Are you kidding me right now? I'm giving you everything, and top of that, you want more? Like, are you serious right now? No. And so they call me, Clara, but are you gonna risk everything? Yeah. Because Coliving, it was everything I knew, everything I built, everything I worked for so long, Are you serious right now? Like, I'm losing, and you want also to take my, how I know how to succeed and like my everything. I said, you know what? No, I'm not gonna sign. Take it or leave it. You know what happened the next day? They signed. So they signed, and they move forward with the deal without me signing a non-compete. I stood my ground. I knew what it was. I knew what it was worth. I stood my ground. I was very close to compromise. Clara, you have to sign. You have to sign to kind of save the company and for them to acquire and continue, and for us to be able to pay some investors. And I said, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to sign. And they took it anyway. So
that's the key. That's what we're talking about, right? Is like, you have to know your values.
Correct.
So anyone who's like listening is like, it has to start with a clear set of values. If you don't have a clear set of values right now, like I'll send out something after this to help you get clear on what at least your 5 main values, if anything, because those are always going to be the things in many theories of behavior change and self-determination theory. The values are the most important thing because that's what you lean back on it. They're like your foundation. They're the most cherished things that you stand on. They're what you stand on when no one's looking. And any decisions move forward, any of your motivations, any of your decisions, any of your goals you set have to go back to your values. And if you didn't have a value of integrity and whatever was holding you to that company, right, of right, discipline and deep commitment, right, and trust, that even if you were in a place of fear, that you could make a decision, even if it was the scariest one, and everything was going to turn out okay. Like, those are the things that matter when you're in those tight positions of, do I do this or do I do that? That's the thing that determines whether you go into a default pattern or whether you make a significant change. So value, like, I know we've talked about it before, but values are hands down the key as far as acting out of integrity, right?
Yeah, so that's the example. There you go. I felt so great. I felt great. All right, but what the hell is that? When you say invested with integrity. So how about we work like in some examples? How does that come in real life when you analyze a property, when you build a product? What are like the main points when you are moving to your next investment? How does that look like?
Yeah. I mean, I think just in general, intentionality matters, right? That's rooted in strong morals and values, like we just said. Like, you're intentional with what you're buying. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to buy that, blindly, and it's going to give me good cash flow, and I don't have the systems or anything backing it to be able to make it functional and operational. Or you're just buying a bunch of stuff all at once, and then none of the right partners or the partners that you have, right? Like, there's so much involved in when you make decisions out of integrity, transparent and honest communication, right? Like, across the board between agents and wholesalers and investors and all the things, right? Like, just honesty. It works. Honesty is the best policy.
I think so.
It's pretty simple. Um, uh, I kind of look at this as, so yes, it can be a fast game, but I think it's a long game too when you play with integrity, because you're
Mhm.
not going to get the immediate gratification. Um, I think quick decisions that are out of integrity lead you to immediate gratification. And sometimes that's not the best thing, right? Most times that's not the best thing, because what we want is a sustainable model that works over time, that is of the highest standard. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think, of course, not taking advantage of the people, fairness in deals. I mean, tell me about your experience as far as like underwriting and deals and, all the pieces of integrity there.
Uh, it's very important when you look at deals, especially wholesalers, and when people bring deals to you, to understand the origin story of why this property is being brought to you. Is the wholesaler
Mm-hmm.
taking advantage of not being truthful to the whole story? I remember one client said, "Oh no, this property is excellent, blah blah blah," and we knew, or we found later on, that the owner was like an elderly person that was being not treated correctly, and they were being lied to about the value of the property, the price they were going to make. And it's like, oh no, I don't work with people that are like this. No, thank you. So you,
Mm-hmm.
especially on wholesaling, you see things like that a lot.
Yeah.
So you really need to know what the backstory and the true backstory behind. And and also to protect yourself and not get scams. Like, would you able to sleep if you get a property knowing that the previous owner got a scam, or like really defaulted on the facts and in price and terms on the property? I
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to
Yeah.
sleep well if the property is not well sourced. Let's put it like that. So that is number one. Uh, Responsible underwriting is important as well, meaning not only price, not only value, and how to negotiate. It's important when you have integrity as well. What are the items that you're really negotiating, and what does that look like, and what does that mean for the other side? Um, and treating everybody with respect. But when I give everybody respect, I expect respect as well. And if the agent
Yeah.
or the buyer or the seller is being disrespectful to us in any way, like, you know what, there is no need for that. There is a lot of emotions involved especially in
Yeah.
retail transactions. So I try to keep it very numbers focused more than emotions focused, to be able to handle things long term.
Right.
But also fear that the deal is good and fair. So not
Mm-hmm.
respecting everybody and feel that I need to take advantage, or that we are taking advantage of someone, or like, or vice versa. Because I'm also very
Right.
fierce and protector of my clients as well.
Right.
Incredible. No, like, watch out, it looks like we're being taken advantage of by either price or the wholesaler, or hold on, like, let's dig. So data
Mm-hmm.
oriented, facts oriented, always. And having a lot of respect for both sides when you build a co-living product for your residents, knowing the true story of your resident, why your resident is living in a co-living
That's right.
environment, choice by how much they make. I remember having a high school teacher here in Cambridge, and they were not making a lot of money. Like, you know what, I'm honored to have you, and give you affordable housing. What you give return to society as a high school teacher? How is possible that high school teachers cannot afford full rent, because they have a lot of student loans and things like that? Like, whatever you can do to help and to increase your tenant base with respect, and also with your property owners when you arbitrage and with people that you deal, super, super important. Uh,
Right.
have always in every property, and that's part of the integrity to me, uh, design space in a renovation
Yeah.
is fair, that is good. Not because you work in co-living, you're going to make the smallest rooms possible. I see many rooms
Right.
sometimes that owners bring to me that barely fit a twin size bed. And you know what? That's not a marketable place. That is not something I'm going to represent or
That's
bring
right.
to market. Do it well. And, treat like,
That's
no, it's like small
right.
rooms, never. That's part of the integrity part for me. So conscious renovation, conscious space. a space for community and people can talk to each other is really important. And also a little bit of the environment, how you respected the environment when you do that. Like, what are you, a little that has to come with it, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and the impact that the property
Well,
makes.
let's talk, that's interesting, right? Like even just thinking about like what the if you're building on land, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in integrity with the land choice and what's happening in the community and how you're affecting, right? I know this is a whole other conversation, obviously. Um, but um, but I really love what you said about just like the consciousness of the space too, because I think what I see or just and I'm early in my career and I'm totally transparent about that. But what I see is the sacrifice for cash flow in exchange for packing people, right? Like sardines
Yeah.
into a house and calling it co-living. Now we know there's like a whole spectrum of co-living. There's that end, and then there's the whole intentional community and being hyper involved and hands-on and all of that. And there's somewhere in the middle that everyone's going to play. But I think what I get turned off by is the whole like the push on the cash flow first and the the undercurrent of the cash flow and the front and the facade of the helping community, where we need to find the medium, I think, of like how are we really helping to build community and solve big problems and also make sure that people are also living in integrity in their own homes in the rooms that they're selecting. So for me, that's been an interesting kind of watching myself navigate through what does that look like and what do I want my homes to represent. And I have like literally on my board, I have a set of values for the home. And then I vet all the people that come in there. Do those people align with those values? Like their values for Inspira Living, which is my co-living company, but each home, right? Like I envision it. I literally create a whole visual wheel of all the rooms and I write out a description of who I'm calling in to those rooms. And so I vet everybody through that. And so there's another piece of integrity. It's like really saying, are you just letting anybody in because they're going to pay the rent? Or do they align with the vision and are they in integrity too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, great, fantastic. I think that's a really good example in how to move forward in this regard. Uh, and when you look at a deal, when you look at a property, and when you look at that, what is like the main factor when you say my residents need to have integrity? How do you look at that? How do you like think about?
When I look at the people,
Mm-hmm.
well, I always want to talk to them in person, right? I want to see their face. So as a coach, I have a pretty good read on people. You can read the room and read people and just read how they present themselves, right? Verbally and non-verbally, and how they communicate and what words they use and what words they don't use and all of that, right? Like it comes across. And so it's very kind of visible to me of like, okay, yes, that's a yes. And uh,
Yeah.
maybe not, right? Um, so, and then just, their understanding and of what living in community is and their openness to it, right? Their how they respond, obviously to some of the questions of like what co-living is going to be like if they haven't done it before. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I think it's just a
Uh,
read.
yeah. No, that's really good. Do you when you think about like a building community focused investment? Because I believe in this case, you're not only building like your own co-living portfolio, but a co-living purpose investment portfolio, right? That is focused in taking care of your not only your values but the values of your residents and being in line with who you are. How do you create a
Yeah.
system, or how do you bring that to the house philosophy or the property philosophy that you can step into it and say, oh wow, this place is intentional, or this place has um, something that makes it different in your in Inspira living.
Yeah, I mean, first I go in with the intention with the house being a place that's thriving, right? Like I envision it as an environment and I set it up that way through design, I do a lot of like clearing of houses and make sure that they're all set up just kind of like energetically. I do like feng shui. I do all the things to make sure that the house feels really good and feels like a home. And my intention in it is that I'm calling in people who are cooperative, right? They're collaborative. They want a place to retreat, but maybe they want a place to be in community. And so I have a vision first of
Mhm.
what that it's almost like building a team, right? I'm in leadership development too. So it's like, how would you build the perfect team? And you envision like all the different players, and not that they all have to be the same or have the same qualities, but they're all going to bring differences, right? And different backgrounds and cultures and customs.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but my overall intention is that this house is a place that is inspiring. That's why I named it Inspira Living, right? That it's inspiring and it's going to be a place where they're going to move on to their next step, right? I don't it's not they're
yeah,
not going to live there forever. So
yeah,
can
no,
it be a place that nurtures their ability to make the transformations they need and save the money or do whatever they need to do to move on to the next thing? And so then it's a matter of like, okay, where get the systems in place that everyone can like relax into, right? That's where the infrastructure comes in. It's like how to, whether it's, the cleaning systems, which, learning from a lot of mentors right now around cleaning systems and, conflict resolution and, Grant Shipman has a great like 5-on-5 process, right? Of like
exactly.
how you can let them work their own stuff out.
Yeah,
And then, just kind of keeping tabs, making sure everything like is okay around the house, making sure everyone's, doing well and not getting over involved, but just being, in a support role. Um, and so when people have systems, that's the thing. Like you can't have complete anarchy or else it doesn't work. Like it's just going to be a bleep
true,
show. Know what I
true.
mean? A train wreck. Um,
Uh,
but if you have systems, then everything can flow within that. Even if there's chaos, the systems create the boundaries for any chaos that happens. And that's what makes a really high standard co-living home is if you can really nail down the operational pieces.
um, if you were to help someone new, like, hey, I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to be like you, Tiffany, when I grow up. Uh, how do you guide? What would be the tips, for beginners that someone, hey, I want to build something, I want to build a co-living space also, but it has ethics and is, similar to my values. What are the, would be like the first tips that you can give them?
Yeah. One, get clear on your own values. That's first. First and foremost. Get clear on your values.
How do
Get
you do that?
clear on, huh?
How do you do that? Like, how do you get clear on your own values?
Well, there's plenty of lists out there of like 200 values that you can go in. And I mean, I'll give an exercise after this. We can send it out to people. But uh, there's all kinds of work that you can do to identify what your values are. Really, it's asking yourself, what are the principles that are most important to me in my life? What are the things that I cherish the most? Right? And what are those things that I'm going to stand on no matter what? When no one is looking, what's important to me? Is it family? Is it love? Is it communication? Is it connection? Is it discipline? Is it commitment? Is it tenacity? Whatever it is, right? Like there's these values lists that you can literally go online and find right now, but getting clear on what yours are and putting them somewhere where you can see them because that's what you're going to lean into, right? And then I mean, I think everyone kind of has their own journey through learning, but for me, it's always like finding a mentor. But finding a mentor that's done it before and that you can learn from, right? Because you can, unless you already know how to do this stuff and you're gonna go and nail it right away. Like I'm a big believer in finding mentors and or groups or people who are already doing it well and connect from them and learn from them. I literally just went out and scoped out everybody who's doing it really well. And it kind of led me and it started to narrow my focus. And now I feel like I'm in a really good spot with the people that I'm learning from. And then have a vision, right? Like what is the vision of what you really want to create and how is it tied to your personal purpose? For me, like it can't be separate. And for some people it can. It's like a whole other thing that they do and it has nothing to do with the rest of their life. But for me, like what I do in this space is meaningful, and it has to emerge from who I am and my like deepest purpose in life, which is to transform, help people transform, help spaces transform, help communities transform. And that's where I got really clear, like, oh, okay, this all actually ties together. Um,
Good.
and so, yeah, I mean, when you surround yourself with the people who are doing it well, you're continually learning, you start to feel into, oh yeah, this really excites me. I'm a big proponent of like, when you feel ignited, when you feel excited about something, keep following that, right? And just keep learning about it, even if you don't know quite where it's going or what's going to become of it or what the actual you know, vision, ultimate vision is. Like, just keep following the passion, and the passion leads you to the next thing. And then you'll probably have some good pointers for beginners as far as like the fundamental elements and financial pieces and all of that. I'd love to hear your perspective too.
Uh, the first exercise on part of my classes is understand your why, like why you're actually
Right.
doing it.
Exactly.
And you can be a business owner, you can be anything you want to do, but you need to understand why. Because that once you identify what is the why, and there is like big surveys and
That's right.
a fantastic book about it. Uh, that why is the one that carries you from day one to day 360, through the peaks and valleys and the roller
Yeah,
coasters
absolutely.
that this business has and every business has. Not knowing why you're
Right.
doing things, or because it's a hype, or because you like just one money period, that's not enough for me. And I would just not take you as a client either if you don't know what you're doing and you have not been honest with yourself in what are you doing things. And it
Yeah.
can be someone say, I want to be close to my parents. I want to, build something so I can retire my husband. The reality that you have around justifies your why, but honesty which a value that comes with integrity, helps you build long
That's
term.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
the why in me is directly anchored to the values, right?
correct.
Like the why comes
Yes,
from the values, and then the goals or the, that's like the motivation, right? The why is the motivation, and then the goals come after that, right? It's a sequence that
yeah,
perpetuates behavior change. Yeah,
totally.
totally.
Fantastic. And what when you build out this portfolio and around your work, what is the one thing you do, like a practice that keeps you, with the head center, with the head, okay, I cannot forget where I'm going. What do you do as a like a daily tip or like a practice for people?
I get into nature.
Oh, nice.
I teach through principles of nature. So every time I go out and immerse into nature, I just realize that we're constantly in a cycle of change, right? Like it's a constant reminder that this tomorrow is going to be different than today. Um and to appreciate these really like the moments that matter, because I think you can get into this and you can go fast, 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 and you're gonna like get yourself in a frenzy and you forget to like pause and slow down and really appreciate. Like, I had to pull myself back, right? I went into another co-living course, and I was like, I'm gonna get 10 more properties, da, da, da. And I was like, no, I actually have to pause right now and make sure that I've got it all on lock and appreciate the moment and actually look back and say, holy cow, I just did that. I just built I literally finished an entire basement, and I built a 7-bedroom co-living home in less than, 3 months, and within 6 months of starting my co-living journey. And it was like I barely had a breath to appreciate, right? So nature just helps me expand my mind and just remember that there's bigger cycles happening, and that I don't have to rush into everything, and I don't have to do everything tomorrow. I'm a visionary, so I want to have everything done by tomorrow. And I'm an action person too, but it just helps to slow me down and remind me of the natural flow of things, right? Like, things have to die before other things come into play, right? Before new life comes forward. So yeah, that's my number one go-to for sure. What about you?
Ooh, coffee. No.
Coffee? That
um,
too. Coffee
yeah,
in nature is a great combo.
coffee. I like
Coffee.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks that align who I am and like how to continue, how to keep growing. And that helps me remind me like what, not only what is like my why, but don't let me forget where I'm going as well. Like continuous self-improvement, continuous self-education, and copying. That's my trick.
And coffee.
I only can go out nature half of the year because I live in the heavy winter of Boston that just begins. So no more nature after time is like really freezing.
Yeah, right. Right. No one wants to go outside.
I gotta go for that.
Yeah.
This chat has been amazing. Tiffany, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do you want, as a final closing point, talk about maybe was like, not only we talk about advice to give each other, what does the future look for you in your investment journey with integrity, and what is the intention that you're holding while at the same time building your co-living portfolio?
Yeah, for me, I'm playing the long game and I'm building mindfully, and I'm really in the process of nailing down my systems and structures and getting it to the highest of standards so that I know how to not only repeat it myself, but teach others how to do it really well. Not like as a teacher, but like if I do hire people to do it for me, that I can teach them and it can be all laid out, right? I'm such a systems and organized. I got all kinds of Google Docs, but that's really like I would love to have, 10 co-living properties within the next couple years. Um, and I know I want to do it, very thoughtfully and do it well and build my brand well. And so to be impeccable with my systems is one thing, to lay a foundation that will build a legacy. I don't think anyone can really build a legacy when the soil is not nourished, right? When you don't have the foundation laid in a really intentional way. And then just to hold a high level of quality in every conversation that I have and in everything that I touch.
I love it. Thank you. That's amazing. No, totally amazing. If someone wanted to, work with you and connect with you, let me see if I can share my screen. Rama. Oh, okay. How people can get in touch with you? Let me see if I can share the screen. I think I can.
Yep. So my coaching website is TiffanyGrimmFulton.com. And that's where I run all of my coaching programs and then my quests out of as well. And then I have my co-living company called Inspira Living, and that's inspiravillage.com. So that's where I have all the.
Oh, wait, we have a question from the audience. It's Jordan Smith. Hi, Jordan. How are you? And he's asking, how do you definitely tell if a person aligns with your values? That's a great question.
It is a great question. So again, like I said, it was like it's what's that?
I was going to make a joke and say, do you like South Park? Or like, how do you really know? I think the word definitely is the trigger here, no?
The what is?
The word definitely. How do you definitely tell if a person aligns with your values?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely maybe it's, I don't know if you can ever 100% tell, but for me, it's like reading a person because I'm in the field that I am. I can read a person pretty well when I'm in conversation with them, their verbal cues, their nonverbal cues, how they're answering questions, how they're not, what they're, what they're resisting sharing. So I kind of frame questions, I create questions around kind of my set of values, right? Like if I want empathy, if I want commitment, if I want, someone who's collaborative, right? I might pose a question like, okay, well, if this was happening in the house, how would you respond? Right? Just kind of scenario questions to understand how they might respond in different ways and how that would display some of the values or the qualities that I would be looking for.
That's a really good answer. You are amazing. Yes, I just share the screen with your QR code and people how connect with you. We will ask what is the best investment lesson that you have learned.
The best investment lesson I've learned?
Yeah.
To not to not start with a full basement rebuild or build out. That's a that's advice from the investors. Don't start with an entire basement finish. I mean, I was on the learning curve for 5 months straight. Like I was just taking in information and just constantly fielding so many lessons from engaging in that level of renovation on my first property. It was like all the stress. And I don't really use the word stress very much because it's just, I don't know, I can
Yes.
navigate life pretty well, but I used stress more than I've ever used the word in my life. And it was just like, it was constant. So try to find something that just has a minimal renovation. But I will say that that definitely set me up for everything else to come. So I don't think there's
Step
anything
out
that
of
I
your
haven't
comfort
seen.
zone. You step out of
What's
your comfort.
that?
That you yourself step out of
Oh,
your comfort zone doing the basement.
oof. Yeah. I mean, everything all at once, like the financial part of it, because we went through all of these different financial scenarios that didn't end up working. And then one finally worked, and then we finally got into it. My contractor bailed the day before he was supposed to start. I had to go scramble and buy a new one or get a new one. And he came in, and then one of the guys on his team like totally left, and it was a whole scene. And oh my gosh, it just like one thing after another. But what I learned was to just maintain my center, right? Maintain my integrity throughout the whole thing. And like that steadiness helped
Mm-hmm.
regulate everything around me. Like I held that steadiness and I held the home in that steadiness too.
The
And
center.
everything regulated. Yeah.
Bravo. Thank you. I love it. Thank you. This
Thank
was
you
great.
for having me.
I'm gonna put this later in YouTube. If that's okay with you.
Of course.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm gonna put
awesome
this.
to talk to you. And
Yes.
next time I'm going to interview you. Okay.
Yeah. You know, thank you everybody for joining. We'll share this to our YouTube channel later on. I'm gonna, if you like, share again the link how to connect with you because I really want to go to your events as well, my friend. I think you have like a
Yes.
tremendous value. Um, and I want to do one of your quest next year. You
Well,
will,
maybe we'll do a real estate, an investor focused quest. We'll
yeah.
just like bring a bunch of investors together and we'll all go quest together and then talk about things.
You mentioned Greece, so Greece in the spring
Greece,
work for me. Let's do Greece.
Greece. Who
Yeah,
wants to
let's
go to
work.
Greece with us?
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We're going to be
Thanks. Thanks so
doing
much,
this
Clara.
YouTube later on.
Mucho
And
amor. Un abrazo.
yeah, no, awesome. And awesome to able to have you and help you as well in your journey, girl.
Yeah,
Ciao.
thank you so much. Well, I will
What?
just say you have been a tremendous help. You're amazing. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Ah, de nada, con mucho gusto. Ciao. I'll see you on the
Ciao.
next one. Bye.